A fully loaded commercial vessel sits idle at the berth. Its cargo is degrading, its charter party is breached, and its departure is halted by port state control due to a single compliance failure. In international shipping, a detention translates directly to capital hemorrhage, daily operating costs compounding, while the vessel's risk profile is permanently logged in the Global Inspection Database. The Merchant Shipping Act 2025 consolidates maritime law into a single framework of domestic and international obligations. This act hardwires the specific mandates of international maritime treaties directly into Indian domestic law. It creates a direct legal link between global bodies, like the International Maritime Organization and Indian port authorities. To understand this legislation, we must conceptually deconstruct a compliant vessel into its statutory pillars. These pillars are the asset, governed by registry, the operator, governed by competency standards, and the human capital, dictated by labor rights. Mastering the interplay of these three domains is the only way to manage a fleet under the Act's new enforcement regime. We begin at the physical hull. Part 3 of the Act defines the legal requirements for owning an Indian vessel under Section 15. Ownership eligibility includes Indian citizens, non-resident Indians, overseas citizens of India, and registered domestic companies. Section 16 adds a layer of complexity, the bareboat charter cum demise. This allows a foreign-owned vessel to temporarily fly the Indian flag, providing a mechanism for fleet managers to scale capacity without immediate asset acquisition. This registered asset provides the security for the financial bedrock of the industry, the registered mortgage. Protecting maritime capital requires a system where a mortgagee can enforce their rights and liquidate the asset immediately during a default. Historically, capital recovery was tied to the pace of the High Court, often leaving the asset to depreciate during lengthy litigation. Section 27, subsection 1 removes this requirement. A registered mortgagee can now sell the vessel without a High Court decree. There is a strict statutory prerequisite. The mortgagee must pay all outstanding seafarer wages before the sale can be executed. Part 3 incentives capital investment by removing judicial bottlenecks, but only if labor obligations are met first. Moving from the hull to the bridge, the legal focus shifts to the operators. Part 4 of the Act enforces the STCW Convention, setting the global baseline for seafarer training and watchkeeping. Sections 45 and 46 mandate that no vessel may sail without precise manning scales. Every individual on board must hold a certificate of competency or proficiency that matches their specific rank and duties. All authority over these certificates is centralized under the Director General of Maritime Administration. This authority extends through regional surveyors to the private maritime training institutes that qualify the workforce. Under Section 47, the Director General conducts audits to inspect these training facilities. If an institute fails to meet STCW standards, the state possesses the mandate to withdraw its approvals. By audit and lead institutional level, the government controls the supply of maritime talent at the source. Part 4 relies on continuous state surveillance of the training infrastructure, rather than just checking paperwork at the port. Moving into the crew quarters, we hit Part 5, which codifies the Maritime Labor Convention. Section 56.3 designates seafarers as key workers, guaranteeing unhindered movement and access to medical treatment. This part of the Act addresses the risk of vessel and seafarer abandonment. Section 3 provides the legal triggers that identify when an abandonment has occurred. These triggers include failure to repatriate, unilateral severance by the owner, or 2 months of unpaid contractual wages. Historically, ship owners and recruitment agencies used corporate distance to avoid financial responsibility. While they argued over liability, crews remained stranded without wages or supplies. Sections 57 and 62 eliminate this tactic by establishing joint and several liability between the owner and the recruiter. The law creates an inescapable connection between the two entities. For statutory penalties, the recruitment agency effectively absorbs the legal identity of the shipowner. Recruiters must now verify the owner has funds to repatriate crews and are themselves liable for mortality transport. Wage protections are similarly strict under Section 64. Wages must be paid at monthly intervals. Delays trigger mandatory penalty interest for every day the amount remains unpaid. Section 67 also requires owners to provide upfront financial security to guarantee repatriation before a voyage begins. The 2025 Act uses recruitment agencies as secondary financial guarantors of seafarer welfare. When we reassemble these three pillars, the hull, the bridge, and the crew quarters, the full architecture of the law is visible. Compliance in 2025 requires total synergy between these legal domains. This synergy is verified by the Declaration of Maritime Labor Compliance, the document that proves the vessel meets all statutory requirements. This legislation removes the operational gaps that irresponsible actors once used to avoid oversight. By extending liability to bareboat charterers and recruitment agencies, the Act creates a comprehensive compliance framework. As global trade standards tighten, vessels operating under these rigorous benchmarks gain an immediate advantage in international ports. The Merchant Shipping Act 2025 establishes a regime where the Indian flag signifies active, real-time enforcement of global maritime standards.